Alright, so this video is going to walk you through doing the sweeps and planes assignment. So it's from the sweeps and planes PowerPoint. So we're going to do 3 parts, and this is going to use the sweep command. So we've talked about extrude and we talked about revolve. Sweep is another useful way of taking a flat sketch and making it 3D. So it's going to need a face, but it also needs a path to follow. So we're going to put this in our advanced modeling document, and we're going to make a new folder because there are going to be 3 parts in here. So we'll call this sweeps. Just call it sweeps, and in here there's going to be 3 parts. So I'm going to go ahead and make these 1, 2, and 3. And the first one we're going to make is the pipe. The second one is going to be a spring. And the third one is going to be the paperclip. Alright, so we have these 3 parts here. Pipe is the first one, and it's the easiest. So this is just going to kind of show you how the sweep works. So when we do a sweep, we need a face and we need a path. So let's go ahead and sketch a face. So this is going to be a pipe, so I'm going to just get a couple circles. 2 circles because I want it to be hollow. You'll see why in a bit. So there's my face. So the next thing we're going to do is make our next sketch that's going to be the path, and this has to be on a perpendicular, excuse me, perpendicular plane. So because I drew that on the front, I'm going to draw the path on the right side. So I'm using the origin as everything, and I would highly recommend you do that. So I'm going to go and sketch, and to do the pipe, I'm going to use a spline. So start there in origin, and I'm just going to create kind of points like that, double click to finish it off. Now we'll give you one warning: don't make any crazy bends like that, right? We want to keep it kind of a gentle slope, because if it intersects with itself, then it won't work. Right, so we got our face and we got our path, and what sweep does is it takes a face and will pull it along that path. So let's see how this works. So we'll get sweep. I'm going to sweep this part right there, and then we have to select the path. Click on it right there, and that will pull it along there. So that's the pipe. Now, the reason that I said be careful with your points is if we have them too close, what we get is it can't draw it because it overlaps, and we can see that right there where it's overlapping. So when we're using sweep, we want to keep our points kind of gentle curves like that. And there we go. So there's the pipe. Right. Next one is the spring. And spring is right here, and it's going to kind of look like that. So for this one, we're not going to have any exact size at all. So we're just going to kind of freehand this. And the way this is going to start is just with a circle and a cylinder. I don't care about size here. So we're just going to make a cylinder. Just like so. And the only reason we made this cylinder is because we're going to put a helix on there. So if we come over here, this is the plane menu, but underneath there's a whole lot of other stuff. Okay, so one of the things we see is helix, and we're going to make a helix which is going to be used for the spring. So helix, we'll just click on our cylinder and it'll put it right there. So we're not going to worry about all this too much. Just make sure that you get a helix, which is that's a technical term for a spiral or a spring shape, and we're going to put that there. Okay, so again, that's buried in the planes menu right there. So we got our helix, and that's the only reason we made that cylinder, is that was there to hold the helix. So I can actually come over and hide that right now. So, and that's going to be our path. So that is our path for this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually have to add a plane. So remember, when we sketch, right, we need to sketch on a plane, and I have these planes here. But if we look at the angle of our helix, it's not at the same angle as these planes, so we need something else. So I'm going to hide these 3 planes so they're not confusing. And we're going to add a plane that is normal to the end of that point. So that normal meaning it's perpendicular. So what we're going to do is come back over here, we're going to get a plane. Now, we pretty familiar with using these origins. So these are just planes, right? The front right top plane, that's a place where you can sketch, right? It's just an infinite expanding boundary flat surface that we can sketch on. But we need one that is perpendicular to this. So we can actually make planes as well. And the one that we want, it's probably on offset on yours, is we want to click in this and we want to go to curve point. Curve point plane is going to pick one and make it normal to this. So set it to curve point, and we're going to click on our spring, and then we need to click on this end point. So that's 2 clicks we do there. We click on first the spring itself, and then, or the helix itself, and then we click on that end point, and that is going to go ahead and create that plane that is normal. And we can see that it kind of slopes with that, and that's what we're looking for. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go and hide this origin so it's not confusing, is we are going to sketch on this new plane. So on that plane we just created, we're going to create a sketch, and I'm going to create a little circle right there. I'm not really worried about the size. Actually, let's make that a little bit bigger, because we just need to make sure that it's big enough to actually see. So there's my dimension tool right there. I'm just going to make it a little bit larger because I did not. 5. Yeah, large enough to actually see. Yeah, that's better. All right. So remember, with the sweep, we need a path and we need a face, and we have a face and we have a path. So we can go ahead and do our sweep. So click on sweep. Click on our face, we need to select the path and click on our helix, and there we get our spring. And I can hide this plane here too, just so we have just our spring. And there's the spring. So the third part we're going to do is the paperclip, and this one takes a little bit more work. So it is going to sweep, and what it will look like at the end is that. And to start out, what we need to do is create this sketch right here. So I'm not going to do that in this video. I'll go ahead and pause it and then create this, because you guys can just go ahead and read that. Just one thing to keep in mind is we have these curves here, these arcs, that is a radius that we're drawing with. So, all right. Well, I'll get you started actually. Just one important thing on this is to make sure that we start with the origin. That's going to be important. Okay, so I'm going to start with a line, start with my origin, and that's going to go up 1.5. 1.5. And then this is 0.25 for my radius. So I'll come over 0.25. And then what we can do is we're going to draw a circle, and that circle is going to serve as our arc, and then we'll just trim it. So I'm going to come over here, 0.25, and then I'm going to come down 1.75. 0.75. And then once I have that, I can trim all this other stuff. So the reason for the circle is just to give us that arch right there, that arc. All right, so we got that one. Now we'll go ahead and just draw this thing. Next one we have is a radius of 0.187. So I'm going to come in here, come over 0.187. Then we can just create our circle. Create our other line that goes to the edge, and we need to go up to 1.375. 375. And we have that point right there. And then the next one is 0.125. So, oops, I don't put an arc. I want a line. And that was 0.125. Okay, And now I can make my circle. And can create my line over. And then it's going to come down just 1 inch. Okay. And I can trim. Thanks, sir. And we could trim this, that, that, and then I can trim that, that, and that, and now I have my paperclip sketch. So this is going to be the paths that we use for this. So we have our path, but we don't have our face yet. And the reason that I started this on the origin is because I have the origin, this top plane right here I know is perpendicular. So I can just come to this perpendicular plane and just draw a little circle, and this is going to be our face. So I'm not really worried about the size of it because this is just going to be the face that we pull along. So we'll do our sweep. And then for our path, we need to go through and select all of these edges, all of these lines and arcs, and they'll come around. And there we go. Here's your paperclip. All right, so that's the sweeps and planes assignment. So we talked about a couple planes, ways to make planes. We talked about the sweep command, and we made these 3 objects, and they should all be inside your advanced modeling folder. All right, thanks for watching.